Oh my God, girl, this man is following me. Is a man out here with a white van following me? Let me stand my ass right here in broad daylight, so if I get snatched up, a bitch know who I am and where the hell I got snatched up. Honey. There he go right there. Look. You see them that was following me. And then the bitches that was following me. Look, now they acting lost and I put the camera on. See, look, they was following me. Let me keep walking, child, since the bitch trying to snatch me up, child.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Okay, so like the other day, I was walking to Little Caesars with my kids. I was walking to go see my sister, she works there. And I kid you not, some guy just started following us, like, I want to say like 3 blocks from my destination. And it was me and the boys just like walking. I wasn't like, I don't know, like, I know I live in the ghetto, but like, is that normal? Do you guys think that if they pull over and they try to holler at a girl, that we're just gonna hop in your car, especially with our kids? Does that like happen a lot? Is that what they're doing? Or was I about to get snatched? Because that shit is fucking crazy and that was scary. And I called my sister, and everybody from Little Caesars came out and was like, but anyways, I am door dashing. I just got a dash. Please tell me if that's normal. Please tell me if I was just about to get snatched. And for those of you who live in San Antonio, the area was Little Caesars on New Braunfels and Houston Street, like right off of Houston and New Braunfels. It was a black Nissan Altima and it had like temp plates, so watch out for that guy.
Why are there so many mass shootings in America? As a clinical therapist, I can tell you that we treat mental health as a privilege and not a right. It's a valid fear to wonder if you're going to get shot anywhere in public. I was at a mall one holiday and all of a sudden there was a mass of people just running towards the exit doors. And there was this massive fear, not knowing what was going on, and someone yelled from the crowd, "There's someone shooting, get out now." It turned out to be a false alarm, but I was afraid to go to any mall for at least 2 months. I'm not going to talk about why we're such a gun-crazed nation in this video. Awareness about mental health is simply not enough because we need action over awareness. That is what saves lives. There are many different ways we can work on this problem in our country, not only through mental health. You have the ability to save a life. If you know someone is at risk, please say something.
Mom's in Austin. You good? I just want to put like this public service announcement out. 1 child being taken, 2, 3, 4. We're a village. Your baby getting targeted? Honey, we are all in this together. We have to come together and start protecting children. That is our job as parents. You're at a park, I'm not just watching mine, I'm watching the kid whose mama may be on their phone and ain't paying attention. Parents, get off your phones when you're at parks with your kids. Don't let your kids outside the houses by themselves. Don't let your kids walk home from the bus stop. And by no means am I blaming a parent for any of the attempted kidnappings going on in the Austin area. This isn't a joke. Don't even let your kids walk in a parking lot without holding their hand. And I'm not just talking like that little limp holding, like the guy don't like you holding your hand. I'm talking like full on gripping their hand. And all I'm saying is if you don't got one of these, you better get yourself one. I know, guns are horrible, people hate them. But I'm telling you, when it comes down to your child being taken, or the other person losing their life, you better be choosing your children. I've seen those videos of you, oh my God, no, I'd never kill for my baby. Well, I would kill for my children. And I'm not just talking like hurting somebody, like, oh, get away, don't touch me. I'm talking I would kill, literally kill for my children. That is our job as parents. Oh my God, you're so protected. You're never gonna, yeah, you're damn right. I'm never gonna let my kids out of my sight. What a sad, sad world that we live in, that we're worried about moms being targeted with their kids who are alone. This is a sick world, you guys, sick world.
Another mass shooting, multiple lives lost, including several children, minors. This isn't just a headline, right? This is a wake-up call. And realistically speaking, gun violence is not just a criminal issue. It's a public health crisis. It's rooted in trauma, inequality, broken systems, and the lack of consistent safety education. We have to stop reacting and responding only after bullets fly, right? Prevention It doesn't start with more laws. It starts with building protective factors in our homes, in schools, and in neighborhoods. And that means teaching young people how to resolve conflict, teaching folks how to protect themselves, how to value life, how to safely navigate a world where guns exist, whether we like it or not. We also need to invest in trauma-informed education, not just for young people, but for parents, mentors, and entire communities.
So I just had to call 911. I'm okay, I'm safe.
She noticed a van following her, so she drove into Costco, circled it a few times while the van still followed her. She parked and went inside, was in there about 35 minutes, came out, and still noticed the van, so she called the police, and in that span of time, the van had left. Women, be safe out there. Always check your surroundings.
This is a PSA to all women who use public restrooms. Recently, a story came out about a woman who discovered a lock on the outside of a women's restroom at a gas station. She later found out by contacting the police because something didn't feel right about it. She noticed that there was not the same device on the outside of the men's restroom. She found out later on that this device would essentially lock the bathroom door from the outside, essentially trapping somebody in the bathroom. So this is a reminder. This is a PSA to all women to make sure you check a door or check the stalls, check the inside of the bathroom. Just do a quick scan just to see if there's anything off or anything that looks suspicious when you enter a public restroom. Please share this with other women you know. Please stay aware when you enter a public restroom so that you can continue to stay safe.
Someone was pushed in front of the 1 train in New York and we need to talk about it. I'm not going to include the video because it's pretty graphic and I think the person is still in critical condition. But between this and the person that was set on fire, other people that have been pushed in front of trains, the people that were shot on the train, a few months ago, we're at a critical point of talking about public safety in New York City. It is very easy to get emotional about this, but I want to have a calm conversation about what are the actual problems that we can solve and what are the realistic solutions that we can put in place, because it has not always been like this, and we can't continue with this as the status quo. It is not fair to the general public who is not trained to handle a lot of mental health issues to put that burden onto the general public when they're using a critical function of society, which is public transportation. And it's not just transportation, it's the infrastructure too. I live close to Washington Square Park, and the northwest corner is filled with 20 to 50 people doing drugs in the open air almost every day. New York is overall a very safe city. I trust the data. We have an incredibly well-funded and large police department that rivals some militaries around the world, and 99.99% of people are not the problem. I would venture to guess we know exactly who the problematic people are. Look, New York City has a right to shelter. We have great public services that are funded by a robust tax system. I pay a lot in those taxes, and I'm okay with my tax money going to those services. However, it doesn't seem like those services are making a single dent, so something is wrong here. And even if the city is okay 99% of the time, the 1% that stuff like this happens causes psychological terror that really does impact people's day-to-day life and changes the way that they live their lives. I don't want the guardian angels, and honestly I don't really want the National Guard either, because it seems like both of those things have really been optics focused, and I don't want vigilantism, and 2, I would rather have solutions that we, make work. And it's the way that our public infrastructure is designed too. The fact that people are jumping turnstiles when it costs $3 for subway fare. And if you can't afford it, there are public programs to get you reduced fare too. The fact that almost 50% of people that ride the buses in New York don't pay for them either. They threaten the public transportation workers' lives. They threaten, their ability to make a living. The things that we've come to accept is just not okay anymore. She was never okay. And the thing is, I don't want the violent backlash that's going to happen when it reaches such a breaking point that we're going to, New Yorkers are going to want a police state. I don't want that either. Whatever the situation is now, it needs to get fixed before the backlash becomes a lot worse.
Story time how I almost got kidnapped from a job interview. Anyway, I applied on Indeed for a job interview. Okay, fine. The gentleman he interviewed me, he said that it was $22 an hour for this job. Okay, fine. I was very excited. He interviewed me. When he interviewed me, he asked me certain questions which did not make sense. Do I have a bank account? If I could be able to get to the job interview, where do I live? So I started asking him questions back. I said, do you guys have a location where, if it's a housekeeping job, do you have a location or an office? He said, no, we don't have an office. I am based out of Georgia. Okay, fine. That was a red flag, but I continued the interview. As I continued to keep talking, he said that he's going to tell his boss about me and that they're going to give me a call back. I said, okay, fine. So I waited on the phone call. About 40 minutes after, he called me back. He told me that I got the job. Now, I was a bit excited, but at the same time, I was a little skeptic on certain things he asked me. Okay, so he said, I need you to go to this location to be able to clean this house. Okay, the location he was giving me, it was a little on the shaky sides. He said that the person is going to be in the house while I am cleaning the house. So I said, so why is the person going to be in the house when I'm going to clean the house if it's for me to go to the house to clean the house? He said, well, the gentleman, he's going to be in there. Okay, that's another 2 red flags. I'm like, okay, that's just a little scary for me. So he said, I need you to go there at 9 o'clock and you're going to clean the house for about 2 hours. Okay. I was a bit skeptic because number one, you don't have an office. Number two, you want me to go to clean the house and a man's going to be in the house. That's another red flag for me. But I continued the interview. So when I came off the phone, he said, you're gonna show up, right? You're gonna be to the interview. I said, yes, sir. I'll be to the interview. So now I hang up the phone. I had a question to ask him. So I called the number back. When I called the number back, it said it was not in service. You called me for the interview off this number. You said you were in Georgia, but this number is telling me you're somewhere in Alaska. And when I Googled the area code was not in Georgia. The area code was somewhere in Alaska. Okay, 3 red flags. Listen to me. When I tried to call the number back and it said that it was in Alaska, that gave me definition to know that this here was skeleton. It was a red flag. And I got that interview off Indeed. Ladies, be careful. I heard that 17 women is missing from doing an interview of Indeed. Yes, I've applied to Indeed several times. Twice was a little skeptic for me and I did not go. But the most of the time when I went on those interviews, I always keep in my mind that they were at locations of hotels, not private resorts or private homes. Okay, ladies, be careful when you go on these interviews and they are private homes, like there's no one there, so they claims, don't go. 17 persons are missing for applying for job on Indeed. Okay, human traffic is very real. Please be careful when you guys go on these interview. Okay, if it sounds a little skeptic to you, don't go. Okay, I'm giving you heads up, because when you get in a situation you can't get out of, it's too late. Okay, be blessed.
I'm actually glad that someone mentioned this because I asked 10 high school teachers what they would do in the event of a school shooting. 6 of the 10 declined to comment. And that is because their students are far more likely to be the shooter than an elementary school aged child is. Some of them did share with me some of the plans the school is implementing, and I will not share those online. And then I've had teachers say that this is the plan we tell students about, and then here is the plan that staff and administration know about. And it's really intense. So I will not be sharing any of that information.
Public safety. This is a very hard topic to speak about because this has been happening, especially in the States, for so long now. A lot of places in the United States, it is not safe at all. And it is actually scary. Once it is right near you, it gets real. It gets so real. A girl got shot right here, about 1 minute walk from my house right now. A girl got shot in a park right near my house about 6 months ago or so. She's gone now. She didn't make it out. 14-year-old girl got shot at a park right near my house. And this area is like, it is not a horrible area at all. But there's still crime. A lot of areas are still unsafe. Things happen literally all the time. Right at my front door, right here at this park, a girl got shot and died. This is a huge issue in this country. People who have access to guns and are irresponsible with that gun, that is the issue. A young girl, she had her whole life ahead of her. Very promising future. And someone took her life away at a party. Guys, be very careful who you are around, number 1. And 2, if you have children, please warn your children. Warn your children. Be very protective of them. This is a very cold world that we are in these days. If they are at the wrong place at the wrong time, please warn them. They can be at the wrong place at the wrong time and get hurt. I was at college parties. A lot of times there was guns at the party. Your life can go like that. A lot of parties that your children are in involve guns. And that is one of the reasons why I don't party anymore. There are young people there who make stupid choices and have a point to prove. And as a result, they screw up their lives and other people's lives too. Guys, warn your children, especially at parties. Especially at parties. It always happens when there is alcohol and other things there. When it's at a party, be very careful. And it never ends well. There is always one person who has a point to prove, who has to show everyone else how tough he is or how tough she is. And they pull out the gun. And you never know what happens after that. That is how it happens most of the time. These people are not correct in the head. They're gone. So please, parents, warn your children. Your life is the most important thing. You only get one of them. Cherish it.
Ladies, it's the Fit Siren here with a personal safety tip. So ladies, you know how sometimes you're in public and you'll receive a call from an agency with a customer service representative asking you to verify your personal information over the phone. Sometimes when you take these calls and you're relaying that information over the phone to the customer service representative, you need to be aware of who's around you. Because you could be giving them personal information such as your name, your address, credit card number, social security numbers, etc. over the phone, not knowing who is listening. That could set you up to possibly get stalked or to have your identity stolen. Ladies, just be aware when you're on the phone, be cognizant of how loud you are and who's around you when you're giving out that personal information. And as always, my beautiful ladies, stay safe.
I had an experience last night where I was almost human trafficked, and I want to talk about this because the crime in LA has been so bad, and this happens not just in LA but in every major city and just everywhere worldwide. I was at Ralph's and I was walking to my car and I was with my dog. I was alone. It was 9:30 p.m. at night, and as I'm walking to my car, I see this guy just standing outside of the closed entrance, because there are two entrances, but he was standing outside the closed one. And he's like in his, I don't know, late 40s, early 50s. He's holding like a 6-month-old baby and he has his phone out like he's on a FaceTime call. And I was like, okay, whatever. That's weird. You know, it's late, it's dark. Why are you in a parking lot alone with like a baby stroller, but you're holding a baby? You're on a FaceTime call. You're doing a lot for 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. So I put my groceries away in my car. I'm walking towards the cart return area with my dog. And as I'm walking towards the cart return area, I feel like his phone, whatever FaceTime call he was on, was like slowly going towards like me, and just like would kind of like his phone would like follow me sort of, but he was like on this FaceTime call. And then as I'm walking back, I'm just like, why do I feel like this phone is following me like from my peripheral, whatever. So I just ignore it because I don't know. I just want to go home. It's late. And I'm removing the dog harness off my dog and I'm about to put him in the car, and I hear him speaking in a different language. He was talking Russian. I understand Russian very, very well, kind of speak it. I hear him say in Russian that she's alone, she has a small dog with her. And when I heard that, I was like, that's sketchy. That's weird. I didn't even care to listen to the rest of it. I was like, I'm getting inside my car right now with my dog and I'm locking the doors and driving away as fast as humanly possible without crashing or hitting anyone. That was my goal, because when I heard him say she's alone, she's got a small dog, I was like, that's all I needed to hear. And at this point, he's like, you know, like up and showing, I don't know, just like, oh, like whatever. And I realized the person on the other side of the phone, I was expecting it was going to be like the mom, you know, or I don't know, someone, a grandma, I don't know, just a woman maybe for some reason, because you're holding like a 6-month-old baby. And it was a guy about his age. Moral of the story, if this was one of the kidnapping, human trafficking, sex trafficking situations, they are potentially getting really smart. And if someone at night in a parking lot is holding a baby, like an older guy, and you're like, oh, he's holding a baby, it's totally fine. No, I think this is just another new one of their tactics that they're using so that you think that it's okay. He's harmless. He's holding a baby. But in fact, he could be on a FaceTime call with a guy like hiding behind a tree or in another car or in a bush or whatever, pretty close to him, that doesn't have a baby and that can run and kidnap you. Also, if you found this video helpful and you were like, maybe they could do that, even if that wasn't 100% the situation last night, you could send this video to a friend or repost it. I don't know, spread awareness, because I'm pretty self-aware of my surroundings. Like, I'm a very independent person. And I'm not going to lie, that was like pretty sketchy, and it almost got me because I found it a harmless situation when he was holding a baby. And then something snapped into me like, that's not right. It's past this baby's bedtime and he's alone. So just wanted to throw that out.
Ladies, if you hike in the Los Angeles area, specifically the Burbank area, I need to tell you what just happened to me, and I will be reporting it to 911. I was approached by a man at the beginning of my hike, just trying to make conversation with me, asked my name and everything like that. Asked if I had pepper spray in my bag, which was my first alert of, okay, why? Asked what I do for a living, what my name is. Can you have my phone number? I declined multiple times. No, I have a boyfriend. Oh, well, I'm not looking for a relationship. Like, can I just get your phone number? No, absolutely not. If my boyfriend got a girl's phone number on a hike, I would kill him. So no, sir, I cannot give you my phone number. Oh, okay. So what kind of car are you driving? Are you in that car over there? Clearly, he was watching me from the entirety of me parking and getting out of my car to stretch. He then asked, oh, so you're just beginning your hike, right? And I was like, no, actually, I'm ending it, because then he was going to try and follow me to the hike. So asked my name, where I live, if the car that I was driving, if that was my car, how he can find me. I said, you can't find me anywhere, sir. You can't find me anywhere. He's like, oh, just here right now. As soon as people started coming down the hill to see us speaking, and kudos to the one car that literally pulled off to the side and stopped there, because I have a feeling that they knew this man was unwelcomed. He walked away and he said, good thing you have pepper spray, under his breath. Now, the car he was driving, I don't think that was his car. He's in his maybe early 30s, early to mid 30s, goatee, bald head, would not give me his name. He would not give me his name, which is ridiculous. When he asked mine, I said, what's yours? And he skirted around the question so oddly. He was in a light blue Toyota Highlander. I do have the license plate as well, which I will be handing over to emergency services just in case. I don't think that it was his car. Doesn't look like he would drive a car like that, but that's what he was driving today. And I was at Wildwood Canyon Park in Burbank today. I always go to all different hikes. I do all different hikes, but today went to that one. That will be the last time I go there.
My wife and I watch a lot of true crime murder shows, and we're not proud of it, but it is our biggest vice. And I gotta say, a lot of people in the 80s and 90s just vanished. And everyone's like, where'd they go? And no one's like, I don't know, they're gone. But we can't find them because DNA doesn't exist. But over time, it's just gotten harder and harder to disappear people because of cameras, lots of surveillance, people having personal cameras, phones, and then DNA. It just makes it a lot harder now than it was 30, 40 years ago. But that makes it so terrifying that there are all of these plainclothes ICE officers arresting people on the street, and no one knows where they're going. By this time, a lot of us have seen videos of people just arresting a college student, not identifying themselves as police officers, just a group of guys taking a person in broad daylight in front of surveillance cameras and just taking them away. And then you hear all these reports about people that are saying, hey, my family member was taken by ICE. I am trying to figure out where they were taken. I cannot find where they went. There is no record of where they are now. It is terrifying that a group of people can just grab someone off the street and be like, we're ICE, you're coming with us. And then just, they're gone. And I can guarantee that there are people exploiting this. There are definitely people who are trafficking humans by pretending to be ICE. Anyone who watches true crime television knows that horrible people take advantage of situations like this, and that there is a really good chance that some of the ICE officers that are showing up and taking people are not ICE officers. And when the families of those people try to figure out where they've been taken, what detention center they've been taken to, they're not going to find it. They're not going to find them because they're not at a detention center. Due process exists for a reason. That's all I'm saying.
California has introduced a new bill to address the issue of harassment on public transit. In this modern age, you don't have to live in a city to know what it's like to be harassed on public transit. Every day, my FYP on TikTok is filled with videos of people talking about the harassment they've experienced on the subway or getting off of the subway or on public city buses. So, Senator Dave Min of California has introduced a piece of legislation titled Public Transit for All, Improving Safety and Increasing Ridership. The bill would require California's 10 largest public transit systems to collect qualitative and quantitative survey data to reduce street harassment, with the intent of increasing riders' sense of safety and bringing rider numbers up, because a lot of people have stopped taking public transit following harassment stories that they experienced themselves or heard from other people. A study conducted by the state of California in 2019 found that more than 3 in 4 women experience sexual harassment in public spaces. And since then, those numbers have gone up. And a study by the LA County Metropolitan Transit Authority showed how important safe public transit is for women, as women are the primary demographic that utilize public transit. Its study found that women are more than half of riders, and they make more trips per day than men do, traveling with children, going to the grocery store, daycare, school activities, etc. And yet, women are constantly having to decide if it's right to take public transit, if it's safe because it's after 6 p.m., if what they're wearing will open them up to harassment getting on the subway. Advocates of this bill are saying we really hope that the bill shifts the responsibility to have a safe train ride from the riders themselves to the transit agencies, because people shouldn't have to live their lives and make their decisions around whether it is safe for them to take public transit to where they need to go.
Hi everybody, my name is Bree Janes and I am a survivor of treatment trafficking. I was paid in 2016 to go to treatment where I was shuffled between 24 facilities. If you speak out about your recovery and you are not working for a brokering facility, please share and educate the people that love and respect and trust your word and trust your story and trust what you went through on body brokering. Please educate the masses on why this is a public, systemic issue that is affecting so many vulnerable people. People like me 10 years ago who were shuffled in and out and basically taken advantage of when they were sick and suffering. And if you were ever brokered or trafficked through treatment, just know that you are loved and we need more resources for people like you. And you have the total ability to use your voice and speak up and not let everybody else speak up for you. We are powerful beings who have been through a mass distrust in the medical system, in the system itself, and we were let down. But you can survive it and you can live a normal life and still talk about what you went through. It should not be stigmatized. As we go on through this period of pain and changes within our country, we also need to fix this major issue. And there will always be a loophole. People will always try to find ways to make money, but we do not need to be the population that is constantly cycled because they can. Because they expect us to be silenced and not talk because, we're already stigmatized, right? So I'm nearly 10 years in recovery and I speak out about body brokering and treatment trafficking for this reason. It exists. It is going on still in Florida. It is going on in California. It is spreading across the country like wildfire. It's been going on since the 90s. It has been going on for a long time. And just now am I seeing big names talk about it. So keep talking about it. I'm calling you, all of you, just to do this service for the people that you love, that you could potentially be saving their life when they say they want to go to rehab. Do your research. Do your research on those facilities. Do not send them out of state. Try to keep them close and keep family near them, checking on them. So if anything happens, they have a safe place to go. Do not go anywhere that's trying to pay for your flight or have you sign master promissory notes. There are many ways to safety when looking for a treatment center, and treatment is not always the only option. There are multiple options in recovery. Remember this. And find the one that's right for you. And please continue to talk about body brokering because it is real alive and it's hard to trust people in the system, in this area. But I love you and I respect you and I'm so proud of you for getting through this because it's hard. Thank you.
So, you may know, you might not know. Yesterday there was another mass shooting in Michigan. Yes, another one. We had the Oxford High School shooting and the shooting at MSU, and now we've had one at a frickin' splash park where 9 to 10 people were shot. And one of the people who were shot was a 8-year-old boy, and he was shot in the head, and he's currently in critical condition. Also, I don't know if it's true, it's just from the reports and things that I've read, but apparently his 4-year-old brother was shot. Also his mother. And I don't even know what hurts more, is knowing that those children and those people are fighting for their lives right now. Or the fact that this will just pass on and it will just be another day. And that we'll forget because we've become so numb to mass shootings in this country. An 8-year-old boy got shot in the head yesterday at a splash park. And I think the most frustrating thing is the fact that right now this country is so focused on this freaking presidential election. Yet these are the two same candidates that have been in office during the rise of our mass shootings in this country. And tell me what has changed. Y'all want me Trumpity Trump this and Biden this. What have they done to make sure we feel more protected? I don't care what side you stand on, if you're the left, if you're the right, if you're the middle, if you're pro Second Amendment, if you're not. Can we all freaking agree that we are tired of walking out in public and not knowing if that's going to be our last day on this earth? Thinking that that mother brought her kids to a splash pad to have fun. And if she makes it through, she's probably going to regret that decision for the rest of her life, even though it was never her fault. Y'all are getting in here on these comments, calling people these disgusting things because they don't back your presidential candidates. And I'm asking you, what are these presidential candidates doing to make you feel safe? That could have been you. That could have been your daughter, your son, your niece, your nephew, your uncle, your grand. That could have been someone you loved. And y'all are so busy hating on each other, your neighbors. Despite who they vote for, y'all are so busy hating on your neighbors because of who they vote for. And these presidential candidates are up here getting rich while we have to be the ones walking around hoping that it doesn't happen to us the next day. And I just feel so hopeless because it's just another mass shooting, right? An 8-year-old kid getting shot in the head isn't going to make a politician want to do anything more. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of great things about America, but some of you are so gung-ho. America is the best place on earth, the country of the free. How free are you? How free was that 8-year-old boy? How free-year-old was his family? Were all the other victims in that splash pad? How free were the victims of the MSU shooting? How free were the victims in Oxford? How free are any of these people who are getting shot in places that they should just be able to go to knowing that they'll be able to get home safely?
What's going on, people? Today I want to talk to you about the mass shooting and the narrative that's going to be pushed following the mass shooting. Now, anytime there's these type of shooting, these senseless killing, I never ever do I ever condone the violence that resulted from these things. But again, we had another mass shooting on Wednesday at Florida State University. Now, I mean, my condolences goes out to the two people that lost their lives and the many that was injured. But now I see that they're on this gun reform. And when they start talking about gun reform, there's only one set of people that they really target, and that's the minorities, right? Now, let it be known, unless I'm wrong, I have never seen a mass shooting that's involving a person of color. It's always some young white person, or in the one case, I think it was Valdosta, Texas, was the one Hispanic dude. But the majority of us, I want to say at least 99% of the time, is some white person. But then they come talking about the gun reform and that they need to make stricter gun laws and they need to do background checks. But those things do no good because the people that's committing these crimes don't have a background check. So now they're targeting, oh, it's the ex-convicts, it's the felons. No, it's not. It's not any of those people, because we know, and I know what you're aiming at by saying stuff like that. That's not who's committing these crimes. We're talking about homegrown kids that's usually entitled. This last one here, this week, his mama was a Leon County, that's in Tallahassee, a Leon County sheriff deputy, and they're talking about access to guns and stuff like that. Remember, these people that's doing these mass shooting, all of them, since they do not have a background, they have access to guns. So you doing all these gun reforms or targeting these gun laws will do no good. What you need to do is to pay attention, because a lot of time you guys have alerts, indications, warnings in the past where these kids' behavior created a red flag, and a lot of time you ignore it. But then the minute it happened, gun reform. We need to do background check for these convicted felons, these convicted criminals, these stuff like that. That's not who's committing the crime. I need you guys to focus on what and who the perpetrators are. Understand? Since we know that among ourselves, we know we're not coming to you guys know in the media that that's not the people that's committing the crime. The people that's committing the crime are clean-cut white kids. This is not racist. This is a fact. If I'm wrong, you guys are always free to correct me with facts, not opinion. Don't go tell me I'm racist, because this is not a racial discussion. This is a factual discussion. Understand? We need to be vigilant, and if you see something that indicate that, somebody could be a possible danger, I'm not talking about just because you feel some guy's looking at you. No, we're talking about something that the person did that could possibly result in harm to others. I advise you, go on ahead, call the proper authorities. But you understand? But let me know in the comments if you disagree or not. It's not the convicted felon. It's not the ex-convict. That's not who's committing the crime. We all know. What's your take on it? Let me know. See you guys later.
When I was 16 years old, I was kidnapped and I was held in an abusive boarding school for 2 years of my life. And when I came here and told y'all some of that story, you listened and you held space and you asked questions. And last year, there were FBI indictments handed down to staff members of the Family Foundation School, which is the school that I attended. I've been working on a project for the last 6 years about the school. I went back, I sat down with 9 staff members, literally faced my demons, the same people who had been chasing me in my nightmares for all those years. And this experience has changed me to my core. And in 3 weeks, I'll be in Albany, New York, at a trial for my former choral director, Paul Gear, who has been accused of and admitted some of the absolutely disgusting things that he did. He admitted them in the 90s. They knew that he was abusing children. They knew. And they said that he was too valuable as our choral director.
This is the time I was almost kidnapped and sold into human trafficking. Yes, it was reported to the FBI, and no, this is not clickbait. So, some really important background context to this story. I graduated high school when I was 17 years old, and I moved to Philadelphia as a minor at 17. When I first moved there, I had no apartment, so I was basically living out of my boyfriend Alex and our best friend Jason Storm. Shout out them for allowing that to happen. And I was working in the modeling and acting industry. Not successfully, but that's what I was trying to work in. Now, this is an industry you have to be careful in regardless, but I really shouldn't have been booking without an agent. You shouldn't be doing that unless you're a professional, and I was, because I was looking for an agent and I was just desperate to book something. Now, I wasn't being completely stupid, right? My neighbor does work in the film industry, so he was giving me sites that he had previously used, and they were reputable, right? So I was looking for jobs on there. I wasn't just typing in acting jobs near me, right? But sometimes things slip through the cracks. And that, my dear friends, is where our story begins. So one day I was scrolling and looking for a job, and I found one of a modeling gig that was looking for girls of my exact height, my exact weight, my exact measurements, and I applied. A couple days later, I got an email from this modeling company asking me to text them my headshot and my full name and my age. That's not super standard. Usually things are done over email, so I was like, this is a little strange, but I figured, hey, maybe they're just smaller, maybe they want to communicate better, so I texted them. And immediately things were a little odd. Every single message they sent had some kind of spelling error in it. And when I asked them about the job, they told me, well, all of our modeling spots are booked right now, but we do have this acting position that's open if you do any acting. Which I did and I was interested in, but that's not what the listing for this specific job was for, which is a little unorthodox. They then also started to brag about all these partnerships of brands that they had. They started just listing off all these big companies, Aeropostale, Aerie, Victoria's Secret. It was really shady. But again, I was 17. I was desperate for a job. I was desperate to break into the industry. So when they said, do you do any acting? What I should have done is not responded to them. And instead, what I did was, yeah, sure. This is when it started to go from weird to really, really creepy and scary. He started asking me all kinds of personal information about myself, my weight, my age, where I was from, what my address was. This was the first time I made a smart decision. My gut was telling me not to tell him where I lived. So I decided to give him the address of the grocery store that was down the road. Thank God I did that. He asked for my social media channels, like literally everything about me. And at this point, I was really scared and I was not interested. But I wanted to get more information out of this guy because I wanted to be able to send it to somebody because I knew something was just really, really off about this. I'm gonna have to do a part 2, but it's already up on my page, so go watch it.
I just scrolled on my For You page and I saw this news report about a 45-year-old woman in Bankstown who was brutally fucking kidnapped. Her 8-year-old son was hit with a baseball bat. Now apparently they found a vehicle matching the description that apparently she was dragged into, potentially having her body burnt in there, while these 2 kids are going to suffer the ultimate consequence and the ultimate price of 5 men who I wouldn't call men. They're still bloody boys because men don't hit women, men don't touch women. They want to call themselves gangsters. You're not a gangster, bro. You're nothing. You're a piece of scum that's underneath my shoe. What you've done to these kids for the rest of their lives, they have to remember the last moments of seeing their mother alive. How scared the 8-year-old little boy, if he wakes up with a head injury like that. Look, doesn't matter what you've done, or what they have done, or what she has done, if she's done anything at all. No one gives you the right to play God and take someone's life. Absolutely fucking disgusting. I have literally recorded this video like 10 times because every time I try to speak, I tear up. Because these kids, this 15-year-old boy and his 8-year-old sibling, are never going to be the same again. Doesn't matter what network of help they have around them. They will never function the same again. They're only fucking children. Like, I'm actually disgusted in how people can be like, what are we living in a fucking zoo? We just turn on each other just like that. I really want to know who these kids are, because if I can help in any way, like, I will. Even if it means taking off the jacket off my back to give to them, I will. Whatever it is. You need food, you need medicine, you need a warm place to sleep, I'm here. Like, how can... I don't know what this fucking world has come to, man. I honestly don't. And there's such thing about, like, did no one hear them scream? Did no neighbors come out? Like, I don't understand. Because there would be some sort of commotion happening. I don't even want to imagine what this poor woman had to endure in her last moments. Like, what was her last thought? Obviously her kids. Like, imagine knowing that your kid been hit in the head with a baseball bat. You have 5 boys, sorry, not men, because men wouldn't do that, dragging you into a car, fucking defenseless. God knows what they've done to this woman. All I can think about is these kids. I hope she didn't suffer, but these kids now will suffer for the rest of their life. They will never unsee what they've seen. And they will never be able to unlive that memory. Like, this story has actually got me all sorts of messed up. Like, I'm probably going to lose sleep over it. For everyone out there, please pray for this family. If there's anything that I can do to help, please reach out. I can't. Like, this world has this system, I swear. What is the bet? They're going to catch these people and they're going to give them bail to let them roam the streets again. Those who don't know me, when it comes to children, I will happily go to jail to defend a child. And I'll happily go down trying to defend the child. Children are a gift from God. and they are defenseless, and us as adults need to protect them. And I don't know what world these 5 perpetrators are living in, but you don't deserve to breathe the air that we breathe. You don't. And sure as hell you don't deserve to be out gallivanting the streets. But I'll leave it in God's hands, because God sees and hears everything. And your day will come. Your day of judgment will come.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.